Hi guys, smallblockhero here. I'm going to do a quick tutorial about remapping for assetto corsa, doing some interior parts. Some guys not really sure how to make interior parts look real with leather and plastic textures. So I'm just going to do a quick little tutorial, like I said, show you guys how to remap some parts very easily in 3ds Max. Okay, so what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to start with a Forza model because guys seem to be doing these the most. I'm going to take a car I've already done actually and show you how I do this. Some guys may have different ways they do this, but this is how I do it, and I seem to have pretty good results. If I can find the one I want. I'm just going to bring in the cockpit of Dodge Omni here. Importing the object after it was converted from Forza. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at the seats first of all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the seats, and I'm going to isolate this real quick. Okay, now here you see the seat. Now, in Forza, these don't really work properly with a normal bump map, and I'm going to export this and texture it real quick just to show you what I mean. And when you're going to export one part out of the whole model like this, you want to go to export and then export selected, so you're only exporting the seat and not the whole interior of the car. I'm just going to quickly put this right to desktop just so you can see what I mean. Okay, so I just exported the seat. Now, I got KS Editor up already, so I'm going to import that seat, and then you'll be able to see it in KS Editor. Okay, here's the seat. Now you can see it's just a standard seat. And what I'm going to do is, the way I do is I go to KS per pixel multi. This way I can create the texture with its bump map on it and then control the amount of bump at the same time. These are the settings I normally use, I know them by heart, for a leather texture. Now on my desktop I keep a folder of textures that I use on a regular. So when I'm building cars, I can just go right to it if the texture is not already in a folder. Okay, leather 02 narrow, which is obviously leather black. And I'm going to use the leather 02 bump map. Okay, you can see right now that there's no texture on this seat whatsoever. It's basically flat, and that's due to the mapping of the assetto corsa. So when I go to normal multi over here, this is going to show the amount of texture it's going to give. Now if I give it a texture of 10, you can see it. So when I add more, and more, you can see it's leaving texture on it. Okay. Now that's actually not bad for a stock Forza model, but you can see the stretching here of the bump map because the seat is not laid out totally flat via Forza. And now you can change the texture like that also. And then we'll try to do the insert here real quick, and there's a good spot to look at it. And let's just say we want to do that in cloth. Get our settings right. And we're going to go to per pixel and UV multi. We'll go back to, I'll do a medium gray. Here you can really see how the stretching works with a Forza model. Now that doesn't really look right at all And even when I change it with the multiplier, it's just not going to be right. Okay, so now we see that it's just not going to work out right, that this interior piece, the insert, is not mapped right, and no matter what I do in KS Editor, it's not going to work. It's never going to look right. So we have to remap this interior section. Okay, so we're going to close this, go back to 3ds Max. Okay, I'm grabbing this part here, which is that insert. Modifiers, UV coordinates, unwrap UVW. Now there's many ways to do this, but this is how I do it. If this works for you, go ahead and do it. Now you can see in the mapping, it's all mapped right here on this line, which obviously this is where your texture would be, and it's impossible for that texture to lay out flat and look like real cloth when it's mapped like this. Now this is technically the typical mapping from Forza, so we're going to go to mapping, and I'm just going to flatten the map. And bam, you can see here, all the pieces and panels have now laid out flat on this surface. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that like that. And now this this piece here obviously is now remapped. Now let's say you want to change the texture that's used on it. So you hit M, bring up your maps. Now in Forza, it's already going to have a pre-set up mapping for the Forza maps. So what you can do is go to Reset Utilities, Reset Material Editor Slots, click that, and it's going to clear these maps out and give you a whole new fresh set of maps starting with 01. So I'm going to take 01 and I'm going to change the name of it, call it Cloth Insert, and I'm going to assign it and show it. Okay, now when you put in the KS Editor, you're going to know when you go to this part that that's the name of it, is the cloth insert of the seat, because you already assigned the name of that texture to it. Okay, so let's quick export this. Export, we'll grab the whole seat here. Export, actually let's remap the leather real quick here. You can see the leather over here is also mapped very small due to the way Forza does their thing. So we're going to flatten that. Now just flatten out all the pieces. And we can use a regular mapping setup on it. Grab both parts. Export only the parts selected. I'm going to go back to the seat. Save right over it. Okay. Now we're going to get KS Editor back up. We're going to import the seat. And let's find it. There she is. Okay. Let's go right back and start with that cloth again. Here we are. Change this, my values again. There's a little less shine, obviously, on cloth than there is on leather. So with my specular, I lower my specular and I raise up my specular EXP to give it a dull looking finish. Okay. So I'm going to go back and get my textures. Cloth, medium gray. You can already see it's mapped totally different. Put the normals on it. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here to my multiplier. You can already see that, oops, she's starting to look like the cloth. Now this piece here did not map properly, but it's okay. You always go back and fix things when you're looking at it. Let's just say we're giving it that much. And you can see that that now looks like a cloth material. Actually, if we take a little more shine out of it, now it looks really like it's a cloth seat in your real car. We'll go up to the leather. Click that. Set our values. Go to per pixel NM UV multi. Assign our leather textures. Leather, black. No, load up there. There we go. Leather normals. You can already see the difference in the way it's set up here. So we're going to change our normal multiplier. Now you can still see it's a little too much bumped for the 10 multiplier, so we're going to go quick to 30. Still a little too choppy. Ooh, 60 looks about right for what a real leather or vinyl / plastic texture. You can also see it's on the piping, gives the same amount of leather type finish. You can see the sun reflecting off of it, giving a uniform textured leather / vinyl plastic interior piece. You can also see on the back here, looks like a real piece of cloth. And that is how we remap parts for Forza for Assetto Corsa. Real quickly, I'm going to show one more thing. I'm going to close this up. Now let's say we want to make it's a two-piece different colored cloth or leather in the same part. Okay, so I'm going to take the leather. Say I want to do a two-tone pattern of leathers here. So I'm going to make it into an edible mesh. Okay, now I'm going to click element. Okay, you can see now if I click that part there, it highlights it. We're going to change the headrest and then these parts here to change the color of the leather. Okay, now these parts here are what I want to change. So now that they're highlighted, hit maps, create a new map. I'm going to call it leather 2. Just for the sake of argument, you can name it whatever you want. Okay, and then I'm going to sign it. Now if you want to, just so you can see it in here, if you want to make sure you know what you're looking at while you're in 3ds Max, you hit diffuse and you can change the color of that part so you know that it's mapped. Okay, now you can see that part is pink now because I remapped it. And we're going to export that back to the seat, override that, replace. Okay, bring up KS Editor. Putting it in. Oops, I messed up something here. I exported the whole thing, not the seat, just like I said earlier. Okay, here we are, just the seat. Let me go back to the original leather. Adding our textures right quick. I already know that the multi is 60 and 60 from their previous look. Okay, and then you can see our other portion of leather we just changed. Leather 2, it shows up what I renamed it as. Now you can make the leather any color you want. So just for the sake of argument, I'm going to make it look red and then go 60 and 60. And now you can see the difference in the two-tone leather just by remapping that, and it kept the black piping. And we'll show it with the cloth back on it. And now you can see the two-tone leather seat with the insert. However you want to map things. Change the illumination here so we can see a little bit better. And there you are. See the difference in the cloth, the two different color leathers, the shine in the leather, the texture and bump mapping. And that's it. Hopefully you guys can use this little tutorial. Have fun.